Bonjour and hello to audiences out there for Comic Book Queer's Legacy. I am guest star Jean-Paul Barbier. You know me as Northstar. I am here to talk about my new book, X Factor. The thing I love the most about X Factor is...
It's me, right? It's me. Hey, sweet tits, what's going on?
That is my team member, Dakin.
Yeah.
You
ever had sex in a recording studio before?
Of course I have.
Oh, me too.
He is here, too, to talk about the team. What I wanted to talk about the most is the fashion of X Factor. David Baldione has designed these wonderful costumes that are just...
Make your ass look so tight you can bounce a quarter off it. Come on. Let's
Everyone knows that.
Screw this. Come on, let's get out of here.
About my ass.
Let's get out of here. Let's have some fun. Come on.
Could you please? I'm here trying... If people don't read our book, then we're not going to...
You know you want to have some fun with me. You know you want to have
I am
fun
not going
with
to
me,
be a
Jean-Paul.
fallen angels of Dawn of X2.
Come on,
people will
come on,
buy
just
this, buy
give it to
our
me.
book.
Come on, look how hard I am. I'm hard right now. Come on.
Oh, bad.
I won't tell your husband. Or he can join. I don't care.
Can he join?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I get to be in the middle.
X Factor, Leah Williams, David Baldione.
Oh. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 128 of Comic Book Queers, CBQ Legacy. Hi, I'm EvilJeff, and I'm here with my co-host Brett.
Hi.
And that was just a little, we were lucky enough to get Northstar and Dakin to pop in to promote their new book X Factor that's coming out TBA.
Who the fuck knows?
Let's just get into so what are you gonna pick? Hot topics. Basically the hot topics for today is when are comic books coming back? Are they coming back? I don't know anything about this. Do you have any updates on this, Brett?
Yeah, I've got a scoop. I've got a hot scoop. So there is a date that comic books are coming back. That date is oddly a Tuesday, April 28th. And I want to ask you, EvilJeff, what is your most nightmare scenario of comic books coming back? Like, comic books are coming back, but what's the worst way to finish that but for you?
Well, for me, since I do everything online, but we won't release digital versions of them.
Oh, no, it's much worse. Comic books are coming back April 28th, and by comic books, we mean DC comic books.
No. Only the DC comic books?
Yeah, the only news coming out of Marvel is that they've furloughed a number of employees.
What?
So DC has a date. Oddly, these dates are Tuesdays. There's a limited amount of books coming out, but those books, like, these are print issues that are coming out. They're using two new distributors that have popped up recently, I believe. They're regional. One is on the West Coast and one is on the East Coast. So they're going to be using these two new distributor companies to distribute books to comic shops that are doing curbside pickup or delivery.
And so Marvel just is like, we have no announcement of when we will release comics again?
Because Marvel is Disney, and I'd imagine there are a lot more people. I mean, I understand DC is Time Warner, but it feels like DC is more of an island than Marvel is to their respective parent companies, right?
Yeah.
And so Marvel's just got a lot more shit to deal with, which sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I heard Disney's losing something in the realm of like $30 million a day just from Disney World being closed.
God damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, that's fucking sucks. We're gonna have to just read DC comics? What about
never?
Is there anything from Boom or Image?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the other publishers. I mentioned TKO. What they're doing is great. But I don't know. I don't know what the rest of it is.
All right. Well, I guess
we're
still just gonna be reading some classics.
Speaking of classics, I think you and I have stumbled upon kind of this. I feel like we're doing a series, and we haven't really intended to, but I feel like what with last week's Emma Frost-centric episode and this week's episode, we're kind of doing like a gay mutant icon, like mutant gay icon series.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it, right? Let's just do this, and we'll talk. We'll pick someone next week.
Yes, some other homosexual.
Yes. This week we're gonna delve deep into the homosexual who is Northstar. In fact, Marvel's first homosexual, if I'm not mistaken.
He's Marvel's first gay character. Started off just as like, more just like a bitchy fop. And so when they were like, we need to make someone gay,
who's bitchy?
Him.
Who's bitchy? Yeah. Who's bitchy or jokey? Those are the gays.
That line from Beyond, Valley of the Dolls. Sharon Tate goes, "Oh, come on. You know how bitchy fags can be."
I love when they decided who was going to come out. They picked all the people who hide behind a bitchy facade or hide behind a comedic facade.
Yes.
Well done, Marvel.
What about Karma?
Oh, I don't know anything about lesbians.
When did she come out?
I don't know. She's next. Let's do her next.
Oh, yeah, let's read Fat Karma.
Yeah. But this week is about Lithe, Northstar. What we're going to do is dive into 3 moments in Northstar's life. Kind of a beginning, middle, and an end for gay Northstar. And the middle is, it's creamy, as most middles are, but I mean, it's pretty arbitrary. So the beginning is, we read Alpha Flight number 106, the issue he comes out.
Now, he admitted to being gay in any issue before this?
No.
So this is the first time he ever even says that he's gay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the out issue. Then we're going to dive into Eve of Destruction from the late 90s, which was Scott Lobdell's run that finished up his run.
Wrote the other one too.
And he wrote Alpha Flight also. So Scott Lobdell, very intimate with Northstar.
Is he gay?
I don't think so.
He wrote Happy Death Day.
I mean, he's writing a lot of gay stuff.
That's pretty gay.
X-Men.
I think he sucked a dick before. Don't sue me.
College. Don't sue me. I know you're listening. So Eve of Destruction, we're going to check in with that story arc from X-Men roughly 111, 112, and Uncanny X-Men 392 through 93. And then we're going to visit Astonishing X-Men number 51 by Marjorie Liu, where Northstar gets married.
Yes.
Got a real progression going on. Somebody's growth mapped.
Let's do it. Let's start with Alpha Flight 106.
Alpha Flight 106, written by Scott Lobdell, art by Mark Pacella, and I believe the year was 1992.
1992.
What were you doing in 1992, EvilJeff?
I was stealing Playgirl magazines while dating a girl named Laura Taylor. I would actually steal Playgirl magazines on dates with her at Golden Ring Mall. Hell
yes. Did she ever catch you?
One time we were making out, and I'm like, can she feel that there's a magazine? As her boobs are pressed against me, can she feel the magazine under my shirt?
And did you escape into the nightmare fantasy of her finding out and being like, what is it? Like you living in the moment where she found out in your head rather than live in the moment of you kissing her?
I guess there was a weird thrill of it. I would always play in my head the song, Jane's Addiction song, Been Caught Stealin', would play in my head whenever I stole a Playgirl magazine. Because there was a line that would be like, and I walked right through the door.
Through the door.
Walked
and right I walked
through.
Right
like that
through
would be going in my head as I stole it.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. So that's what was going on with me. So as you can see, gay rights was not doing too good with me either.
Gay rights not doing good with me either, despite the fact that I was attending regular rehearsals for the high school musical, for our high school musical production of Me and My Girl.
And you were the girl.
I was the and. So Alpha Flight 106, written by Scott Lobdell. On the cover is a close-up of Northstar's face just filled with rage. It's such, oh God, the rage. And it says, Northstar, if you've never seen him before. Oh, I'm sorry. Northstar, as you've never known him before.
Oh.
Known him.
I don't know her.
I don't know her. But he's so angry. And then we get to the intro page, the splash page. And the intro identifies who this particular Alpha Flight team lineup is. So I'm just trying to set the scene here. So Alpha Flight is Guardian, who's Heather, what's her name? McNamara? No,
sure.
That's Heather number one. McDonald. Weapon Omega, we'll get to him. Sasquatch, Northstar, Aurora, Puck, and Windshear.
Wind.
And then we cut to the first scene. And it's a former Invaders character by the name of Major Maple Leaf. Somebody who fought alongside, although was never an official member of, the Invaders. Major Maple Leaf.
Can we
watching
pause
television.
for a second, though? I want to talk about the art.
Oh, please do.
Who is the
please
artist
do.
on this?
Surprisingly, not Rob Liefeld.
Here's what do you know what's worse than Rob Liefeld? Someone trying to do Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, Mark Pasella.
He's like trying to do Rob Liefeld.
Oh,
and it's
isn't it
awful.
amazing? It's so interesting to check in with a comic book that was emulating the Rob style.
Which is awful.
Oh, it ruined the whole decade.
Oh,
Didn't it?
God.
Didn't it just ruin the whole decade?
The feet.
The feet, the proportions, the faces. Horrible. By the way, were you wondering if Major Maple Leaf actually was a character back in like the Invaders days?
Was he?
No.
Okay, totally made up.
Totally made up for this. So he's watching the news and he's just very mad and he's thinking about raising his son, Michael Sadler. So we know Michael Sadler's coming up at some point later in the book.
Well, you see him like crying. It's like it looks like he's like crying over something. I assume it's a grave.
Yeah. And that'll come up later.
Oh. It
But
sure
let's-
will.
Let's cut to some good old comic book action where we've got Alpha Flight taking on Mr. Hyde, who Guardian says is a member of the Masters of Evil at that time, but he's up in Canada by himself.
And I love how, do you know, if you're Canadian, do you know what you have to do? You have to talk about how you're Canadian all the time. You know, it's like, you think you can just come up to Canada? Well, here in Canada, we don't do... I was like, can you shut the fuck up and just fight?
Here's the thing about Canada.
Oh my God. Poor Canada.
I'm trying to look up who was in the Masters of Evil with Mr. Hyde. I'm dying to know. I can't tell.
But during the fight, there's a baby cry.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Mr. Hyde knocks out he punches Northstar. Northstar goes flying into an alley and lands among all these garbage cans, and here's a baby cry.
There's a baby in a trash can, and he just runs off, and everyone's like, hey, where are you going? And it turns out the baby and the weird, it's just such a very, like, I can't imagine reading this in 1991 where you're just normal to a regular comic. And then suddenly you're like, what's wrong with the baby? Your baby, the child has AIDS. Like, what?
It's insane. So they take this baby to a hospital. They cut to 3 weeks later. The team is having their team meetings in the hospital because Northstar won't leave the side of the baby.
He has apparently adopted the baby already.
He's adopted the baby. Puck is smoking a cigar in the ward for the babies with life-threatening health conditions.
Oh, God.
And the doctor's like, listen, your baby I got to talk to you about your baby, Northstar. He's like, say it in front of my team. And he's like, fine, your baby has AIDS. And it's just real jarring.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
So I wanted to check in with what was going on with HIV/AIDS in 1992. So I did some research.
Oh.
Because I was like, where were we at? Like, in our minds. Like, how deep into AIDS were we? And how deep into trying to do something? The 8th International AIDS Conference was in 1992. So they'd already had 8 international AIDS conferences, or 7 international AIDS conferences prior to 1992. Originally scheduled to be held in Boston, but it's moved to Amsterdam due to U.S. immigration restrictions on people living with HIV/AIDS. So they would not allow people from other countries into the country who were positive for this AIDS conference. The United States wouldn't, so they moved it from Boston to Amsterdam.
When did that end?
I'm not sure. Listen to this next one. 1992. AIDS becomes the #1 cause of death for U.S. men ages 25 to 44.
Whoa.
How's that for some motherfucking perspective?
That's crazy. Wow.
May 27th, the FDA licenses a 10-minute diagnostic test kit.
Oh. We didn't have those available when I was getting tested in the 90s.
Wow.
You had to wait 2 weeks.
I wonder what happened with those.
Do you remember that, getting tested in the 90s?
Oh, sure.
And you would be
yes.
like a week or two where you're just like, am I gonna die? And then by week, you go through like the 5 stages of grief. And then that walk right before you go to get the results, you're like,
Oof.
These are the last moments of when I was didn't live with HIV.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you're negative. And then you're like, woo, I'm going to be a slut again. I mean, not really.
Every time I get tested, it's the same song in my head. It's, I know there's no way, but I'm totally going to be positive.
Yeah.
It's just so irrational.
Well, that's the weird thing of PrEP eradicating that from my brain.
Yeah.
Like taking that stress out of myself. It's amazing.
Huh.
Although I'm not on PrEP anymore.
Are you just being a good boy?
Well, because it's like,
Oh, you mean like recently? Yeah.
I was like, I'm quarantined.
Like in the age of Corona.
Yeah.
Another thing from 92, Florida teenager Ricky Ray. I don't remember this guy at all. Florida teenager Ricky Ray dies of AIDS-related illness in December. The 15-year-old hemophiliac, like I remember Ryan White, of course, but Ricky Ray, and his 2 younger brothers sparked a national conversation on AIDS after their court battle to attend school led to boycotts by local residents and led to the torching of their home. I don't remember this story at all.
I don't either. I was too busy watching the HIV episode of Mr. Belvedere.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that?
Yes. How you doing? What is it like, Bobby? How you doing, Bobby? I mean, pretty good, except for the AIDS thing.
Yeah. I know. Who wrote that?
But, it's so funny. I always think back on this issue of Alpha Flight. And I'm like, oh, of course, when Northstar comes out, it has to be AIDS-related. But I think we also have to remember the context of just how big it was.
I agree with you because, when you look back and say, oh, of course, the gay guy has a baby with AIDS, but then you think, like, the fact that this is 1991 and gays were still horribly treated, there wasn't any gay anything anywhere. And the only thing you heard about gays was they all had AIDS. You know what I mean? And so I feel like this was taken as a way of like, hey, guess what? It's not just gays that have AIDS.
Yes. This story, I have to say, I haven't read this since the early 2000s when we did the original show. And I forgot that I thought this. Maybe I didn't, but I found this to be a little bit like this was kind of nice in some ways. Like,
I agree.
The villain's point of view is that gay men are discarded, and that's not fair.
Yeah, because what's his name? Maple Leaf. What's his name? Major Maple Leaf?
Major Maple Leaf.
His son was gay and died of AIDS, and he's like, how come this? But then he wants to
And no
kill
one
the
cared.
baby. He wants to kill the baby because, like, why do you
That's
care
a
about
little
this baby? You don't care about my gay son. I'm like, well, we don't have to kill the baby.
We don't have to kill the baby, but you do have a point. He is upset that everybody's fawning over this baby, but they discarded his son. So I don't think I've ever realized just this isn't in as poor taste as I've always thought it was.
It's not.
Is kind of my takeaway.
Yeah, and that's where Northstar is like, don't lecture me about homosexuals because I am gay.
Gay.
So I imagine being like a gay kid reading this, being like, whoa. Although I wasn't reading Alpha Flight at the time.
Nor me.
I was just reading X Factor and X-Men and Excalibur.
I wasn't ready in 1992 to read this and have it be meaningful. I wasn't ready for that.
But around 1993, Ryan Phillippe was the first gay character on a soap opera.
Woof.
And I recorded that every day because I was like, please have him kiss a boy. Of course, he never did anything remotely sexual.
No.
But I was like, he's so pretty and he's gay. Please love me.
I follow him on Instagram. I highly recommend it because he's still so pretty.
He's gorgeous.
Ugh.
Reese, what were you thinking? Did he cheat on her? Is that why they broke up?
Oh, he's probably a bastard.
Did he fuck a nanny or something? It seems like he'd be a nanny fucker.
Yeah, probably.
That's how she became the nanny.
But I mean, I bet people hit on him real hard. Like somebody's like,
Oh,
just come
please.
on, I'll suck your dick. Come on, I'll suck your dick.
I mean,
Like,
yeah. There's certain people where you're just like, even if he wasn't famous, if he came up to
everybody would want to fuck
and was
him.
like, hey, you'd be like, what? When? Name, time, place. Remember, was it Studio 54, Club 54? What was the movie?
Oh, 54.
50, just 54. Oh. Anyway.
Lord.
Anyway, I think this issue was actually very poinient and not.
I think
in
it's
bad
actually
taste.
very poignant. Me too. I'm reframing how I've always retrospectively thought about this. The other thing is this character Weapon Omega, when he all of a sudden drops a line and goes, "When I was Wild Child," I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, Wild Child. So that's what his name was. You were like, oh, he was on Alpha Flight. And I'm like, I don't remember that. There he was. But who is Windshear?
I had no idea.
I still don't know who the fuck Windshear is.
I don't know.
What a
Should've
horrible
researched.
name.
What a bad name. My autocorrect when I made a note about Windshear was like, "What is this?"
Was it just
And
trying
like
to say windshield?
hyphenated. I was like, "I don't know what to do with this hyphenated." I don't know.
I thought it was like windshield.
Windshield. And then the baby dies at the end, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And Major Maple Leaf is consoling Northstar at the end.
They were lovers.
They were lovers, you see.
They became lovers.
Anyway, everyone should read Alpha Flight number 106.
Yeah, just look how far we've come.
Look how far we come. I will take us to. Did you look to see what year Eve of Destruction was? What was that? 99, 2000?
99, 2000? Yeah. It was
All right,
2000.
so we got-
2000.
We're doing a little bit better, but I have to say. So, well, I'll come to the conclusion at the end of the episode. I've got a conclusion about the progression of these Northstar stories, but we've got Eve of Destruction, written by Scott Lobdell again, art by the very prolific Salvador Larroca.
Ugh.
Yeah. Northstar has written a book. All right, so let's set the scene.
Did it say what the name of the
Genosha.
book was?
Born Normal.
Born Normal.
Born Normal, which led Gaga to think of Born This Way.
I'm on
so
the
what's
right
happening
track, baby. I was born normal.
So Eve of Destruction. Let's set the scene. Colossus
Great
has
drag
just
queen, by the way. Eva Destruction.
Eva Destruction.
Have you seen Eva Destruction?
No, that's a real person.
Yeah, I highly look up Eva Destruction laughing clown lip sync. It's amazing. The problem is it's super creepy and amazing. And then she went on America's Got Talent, and they like booted her off because it was so weird.
Oh wow.
And creepy. Anyway, great drag queen. But Eve of Destruction is also the name of this whole Genosha Evil Magneto run.
Yeah, so Magneto basically takes over Genosha. He's just super bad Magneto.
Kidnaps Professor X.
Professor X.
Puts the
like borderline crucifies him.
Crucifies him. Puts Clockwork Orange eyeballs.
Like Jesus.
I'm like this is a lot.
Cut to House of X where they're like, hey, buddy, sorry about all the stuff we did in the past, buddy.
Well, this is the amazing thing, reading this and then seeing House of X. Literally everything Jean Grey, Professor X, and all are saying to Magneto, I'm like, y'all did a complete 180. 180. It's kind of amazing where they're yelling at Magneto for creating this mutant state, being like, how could you? This is so wrong. And then it's like, nope, you're going to be singing a different tune.
Meanwhile, Xavier and Moira with her fake death are like snickering, like, just you wait.
But that's the weird thing is did they know they were still going to be doing this when all of this was happening?
I feel like that would take going back to House of X and pinpointing, like, when did they have the Magneto conversation? It was well before this.
I know, right? So that's kind of like, was all this a big ruse?
Well, I go back to Moira's journal entries where she talks about, like, we just lost Magneto. He's super mad. Like, I feel like she could be talking about this.
Yeah. Like, maybe he went off the rails and then they're like, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe it was kind of like, we actually don't mind you creating a mutant nation, but you're trying to do it without us, and we need to do our mutant nation.
Right, like, oh, you little jump the gun on the mutant nation there thing, buddy. I love to think that they still had squabbles, even though they knew about, all the House of X knowledge. Yeah.
But then Jean Grey. So this is all about Jean Grey. It's like the beginning of one of those heist movies where it's like,
she's assembling crew.
her team, and this is where, like, the story becomes problematic. It's literally like, I'm going to pull this ragtag of people that have nothing to do with each other. All right, what's the mission? Don't worry about it. Let's go.
Kill Magneto.
It's so very like, wait, what? And also, who is the see-through skin guy?
Wraith, Hector Mendoza.
Why? Why did she get him? He doesn't.
She's like, we need you. At one point, they're like, he's more dangerous than he looks. No, he's not.
He doesn't know how to use his powers.
And his power sucks. He can turn you translucent, too.
He can make your skin translucent.
Magneto was like, oh my god, what is that? Anyway.
Well, there's a part later, and then Jean Grey's like, I hadn't realized that it would hurt other people. I'm like, then why the fuck did you bring him? That's the only reason you would bring him, you dumb bitch.
So weird.
It doesn't make any sense that he's there.
So she's scooping up, like, D-list characters to take down Magneto.
Also,
I forget, like, what's happened with the rest of...
Where are all of them?
I can't recall. I know Colossus just died.
Are they just doing, like, a Destiny Diary things or something?
Right? It's all mushing together, that whole era. So she gets Northstar, and that's where you find out he wrote his book, Born Normal, Born This Way. She gets Wraith, Hector Mendoza, who's got see-through skin, big deal.
She gets Frenzy.
She gets Frenzy, who was an ambassador for Magneto, and then she totally brainwashes Frenzy, which is unethical.
Yes, she, like, mind controls her, basically.
Like, if you're gonna go, like, Jean, if you're gonna go around mind controlling mutants, like, go get good ones.
Yeah,
and just mind control them. So she picks up Italian stereotype Polly Provenzano, who's a super strong, invincible Italian guy from Brooklyn.
Did he ever show up ever again?
He has been in stories after that. He even picked up a code name, which was Omerta, which is the like the mafia code of silence, like you don't rat.
I would rather have been like provolone or something like
Provolone, because he was so dangerously stereotypical Italian. Oh my
know,
God. Right? It was like Moonstruck. It was so bad. And then Sunfire's sister, Sunpire, the worst name.
Sunpire. Oh. Who's basically like, I have the same personality. You know what? Did you ever think, like, when they were choosing who should be gay, do you think they were like, all right, it's either Sunfire or Northstar? Because they're the two bitchy guys.
Because the bitchy ones.
You know, how come Sunfire hasn't come out yet?
Because I think Sunfire already had that. So there was an episode of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends where Firestar and Sunfire had a steamy romance, pardon the pun. Maybe that's why.
In the
because
TV
it was
show?
already canon that he was hetero.
In the TV show?
Yeah, in the cartoon.
That cartoon is not canon.
It created Firestar.
I still don't think she's real. Why isn't she? She's not on Krakoa, is she?
I don't know. Have we seen her?
Isn't she somewhere else? I feel like she's like on the New Warriors or something. Isn't like, I don't know.
Oh, she's New Warriors. Yeah, she was in the art of the New Warriors.
Fuck Firestar.
Yeah, go to Krakoa, bitch.
What's her name? Angelica
Jones.
Houston? Oh, Jones.
Angelica Houston.
Okay.
That's that famous witch.
Yeah.
So, and then all of a sudden, knock, knock. Jean's like, okay, team of scrubs, let's go. Oh, who's that at the door? And it's Razzle Dazzle Dazzler Allison Blair.
Wait a
back
minute.
from Mojo World.
You skipped a big part.
Who?
Before that, there's a rough and tumble fight.
Oh, that's right. It was before.
Between Northstar and Provolone. Wait, what's
so
his
can we
name?
talk?
What's his name again?
Provolone, Paulie Provenzano. So can we do the story of Northstar and Paulie being reunited and fucking, please?
Oh, please. I mean, they clearly fall in love at some point during this arc.
Oh, yes. Paulie is severely homophobic, as all Italians are.
Or as all super closeted people are.
Thank you.
And he's just like, hey, I know this guy. He's a fairy. See? I'm not going to be on a team with no fairy.
And he's like, I'm just afraid of catching something.
Yeah,
okay.
basically.
Did
like,
we
I
not
bet you
have a thoughtful...
I bet you have AIDS, see? Like, what the
Did
fuck?
we not have a thoughtful a piece written by the same guy?
I know, the guy's like, yeah, and that's the weird thing is I feel like over the years we're not kind to Scott Lobdell because the writing, he keeps trying to do all these like funny puns and they land with a thud. Like they're awful.
I feel like shit at the X-Men office was real fucked up around now, and he was doing his best. Like, things were changing, things were like, go, go, go. Anyway, Paulie is very homophobic.
Yeah, super, super homophobic.
And he and Northstar get into it, which is super hot. And
then Jean Grey's like, oh my God, just stop fighting. Violence isn't the
stop.
answer. And he's like, oh, you take the homophobe side, bitch.
Right. Like, Jean's essentially like, look, we all know Northstar's a faggot. Let's go. It's like, Jean.
She's like, look, I need him, okay? Just deal with it.
Just deal with his gayness.
Come on, stop being such a fairy about this. And then Dazzler shows up.
Dazzler shows up.
And she's like, I think her husband's probably dead. Long shot.
She's like, I'm back from Mojoverse. I think Longshot's dead.
She already gave birth to Shatterstar.
Who then gave birth to Longshot, whatever the fuck.
That was creepy.
So Dazzler's like, let me join your ragtag crew. So then, they go on their mission and hilarity ensues. Like, Paulie hits on Jean and Jean's like, oh, finally I can show you somebody who I can show my true form to. And like, she becomes like a fat old lady.
That was so weird. That was just so
And Paulie's like, oh, never mind, woofa.
And then she's like, oh, that'll keep him, that'll get rid of his boner.
And Dazzler's like, if I wasn't so horribly depressed by all the murder I just escaped, I would have left. And Jean's like, oh yeah, by the way, what happened? Okay, so
I was like, when she's like, we're not really close because we were never on teams at the same time.
Oh, we were never on the same team.
Great,
we know that. So I want to talk about it because I remembered everything about this run. I remembered Scott Summers' cool black leather outfit. I remembered that this was around the same time as the movie. I remember Jean.
Was Polaris know that Magneto was her dad? At this point?
I don't.
Because Polaris, Logan, and Cyclops.
So Polaris was told Magneto was her dad a long time before this, and then was told
that he wasn't.
He's not. But it was Morrison who did that issue that Phil Jimenez drew of Polaris trying to find the black box in Genosha.
Yeah.
She kept yelling, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," and that kind of changed the whole thing.
But was that before or after this?
It was after this, because it was this led to Morrison's run. So Dazzler is like, I escaped Mojoverse. It was the most horrible thing I've ever experienced in my life. And Jean's like, cool, do you mind if we use that memory as a kind of virtual telepathic danger room for this new... And then Dazzler goes back to like what happened in Mojoverse. And I'm like, wait, this part I did not remember.
I did not remember
this part
either.
at all. Are you telling me that Mojoverse was destroyed and Longshot was killed because of bad X-Babies from the Age of Apocalypse?
The X-Babies all turned evil?
It was the Age of Apocalypse villain X-Babies that like created this tragedy.
Is this the same X-Babies from the Excalibur with Kitty Pryde?
Yeah, like they're like, oh, Dazzler, didn't you take the X-Babies back to Mojoverse? She's like, and then they created X-Baby AOA villains and everything was horrible. I was like, what the fuck? And by the way, Jean's like, cool, can we use this memory as a danger room?
What the fuck?
Jean is
out. She's
out of her damn mind.
She's gone crazy.
She's gone crazy. Meanwhile, the heat between Polly and Northstar, because this is a Northstar episode, is turned up to 11.
They keep fighting, and
Dazzler,
it's because they want to fuck each other.
Oh, hell yeah. Dazzler really leans into her holographic powers. That turns out to be the thing that defeats Magneto. Actually, the thing that defeats Magneto is Wolverine crippling him. And that's it.
Well, then at one point, finally, Northstar and Provolone are off alone together fighting, and he gets the air sucked out of him, so Northstar has to give him mouth to mouth.
Yes.
And then he like wakes up and is like, "Get off me! What are you doing?
I knew it, you fag!
I knew it, you faggot!" And then he's like, "I was saving your life." And then as he flies away, he's like, "Thank you. I kind of liked it."
I kind of liked it. I need to check back in with Paulie Provenzano.
Because you never know. That reminds me of the comic I was writing at the time called The Aerials. I hadn't read this. Actually, I was writing a little bit before. But I had a character who led the team who had angel wings ripped off of Angel, and then there was another character ripped off of Firestar who had fire powers, and basically he slaps her in the face.
Jeff.
I had it that she slaps her in the face and she uses all of her powers to shoot him, but it overloads her belt, and then that keeps her aflight because it overloaded her powers, and then she falls to her death. He catches her, and then she kisses him and falls in love with him. So I wrote this when I was like 14. And I love that but it started with him slapping her in the face, and then a moment later, she's like, "I like you."
Oh my god!
So as I said, as if you've listened to these before, I've said many times, I love enemies to lovers love stories. They're my bread and butter. I love it. And that's what I want to see. These two, their love story. That I know they fucked.
Oh yeah. You seem like somebody who is the most susceptible to Stockholm Syndrome than anyone I've ever met.
Have I not told you?
Do you often think like you might, if you get kidnapped, you're probably going to fall in love with your kidnapper?
Okay. Before I went to bed, and this is going to tell, okay guys, this is going to be like, Jeff, I'm currently in therapy, so don't worry after I tell you this. This is what helped me fall asleep. I would fantasize about this every night from probably age 10 to like 14. I had a dream that on the news, Jean-Claude Van Damme murdered his wife, and he was wanted by the police. I was walking home from school and I see in the abandoned house 2 doors down, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I see him taking the trash out. He sees that I see him and he grabs me and kidnaps me. And he's like, I have to hold you here because you'll go to the police. And so he holds me hostage and then we just have tons and tons of sex. So if you're asking whether I would have Stockholm Syndrome, it would take 3 minutes. I would be like...
It would take 3 minutes.
It would take 3 minutes. He would tie me up. The kidnapper would tie me up and I'm just like...
You're like...
So, like, are you feeling it too?
You had me at come with me.
I love Stockholm Syndrome. Have you not seen Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down? Pedro Almodovar's
I have.
movie?
Oh my God.
Hot.
Long time ago.
But here's Stockholm Syndrome only works if the kidnapper is hot.
Oh, of course.
Anyway. What were we talking about? Where were we?
We are talking about Astonishing X-Men number 51, the Northstar Kyle wedding issue.
What is this, 2011? 2012?
2012.
2012. Astonishing X-Men. Marjorie Liu. Where's she been?
I don't know.
I haven't heard from her in a while.
Come on, Marjorie.
And I will say I was not a fan of this run in general because I just felt the roster was kind of boring. This is pre-gay Iceman and Karma and Gambit and
Wolverine,
Northstar. Was that the whole team? Was there another girl on it?
Iceman?
Yeah, I said that. Wasn't there another girl on it?
Warbird?
Oh, yeah, Warbird.
Warbird and Kid Gladiator, too.
Right. I just like...
Yeah.
Anyway, this one is all about the wedding, the gay wedding. Is this the first gay wedding ever in a major comic or just on Marvel?
I'm going to say yes.
And...
Well, I mean, DC Comics doesn't even have any gay male characters. Obsidian. It's all lesbians over there.
Right, well, that's what the incels like.
Yep.
What did you think of this issue?
A few things stood out. So the wedding was born out of Northstar's human boyfriend being like on the precipice of getting refrigerated, like the imminent danger.
Yeah.
Led to wedding. I was like, okay. I thought it was cute that Bobby was very supportive this whole wedding and was just very invested in it. Mm-hmm. And this is a few years before he came out.
I know, it's weird seeing it with that eye. Like, there's an even part where they're kissing and Bobby's looking at them, and I'm like, oh, that has a whole different connotation now.
A whole different... Oh, well, shit. I'll go back to, Eve of Destruction, where there was the panel about... Because I read the Prelude issue, and there was a panel about the legacy virus being cured. It was just cured. And they go back and they're like, the late Moira McTaggart worked effortlessly. Wow, that was weird.
Are you drunk?
Effortlessly, yes, to cure the legacy virus. And I was like, ooh, that has a new context.
Yeah.
Surely stayed up day and night, huh?
Golem.
Effortlessly.
There you go. Kopfgeschlagen.
Kopfgeschlagen. Oh my God, my friend just texted me that the other day.
So
just that word. Kopfgeschlagen. That's so funny.
That end scene where they're doing the live soap opera is one of the best written pieces of comedy ever.
Oh, it's the best written movies ever.
Kopfgeschlagen.
Soap Dish. It's Soap Dish, everybody.
Watch Soap Dish if you have it. I think it's free on Hulu now.
Other thoughts? Astonishing X-Men 51. Beast as the officiant. Adorable.
But I hate his boyfriend.
Sure. I also have a problem with 3 different characters expressing how they're not okay with the wedding.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Warbird,
I have a real issue with this.
But Warbird has no objections to it being gay.
Oh.
Warbird is like,
then
I
what
don't
is it?
believe in in love ceremonies. She never mentioned being gay. She was like, I don't believe in expressing vows in a ceremony for love. So I think she's just against weddings.
Okay, but that scene wouldn't be in that book if it was a straight wedding. That's
True.
A straight wedding would never have invoked that feeling.
But we do have then Puck being like, I don't know, it's pretty weird.
And Havoc.
And then Havoc's like, I know, if my grandparents were there.
I know, right?
Well, they'd be like, what?
Oh, I can't help but think what my granddad would think. What?
It reminded me, did you ever see that Key and Peele where they like where he's trying to explain to the family about what happens at a gay wedding? And the gay family members just be like, is it bad when they kiss if I go, ew? And he's like, yes, you can't say that.
Yes.
He's like, when do they play It's Raining Men? They don't. They won't.
I don't know. This modern issue had more moments of joylessness
than the AIDS
one
baby.
from 1992.
Yeah, I felt there was way more problems.
And that to me is the weird kind of big conclusion takeaway of this Northstar journey we went on, is that it got increasingly more problematic.
Yeah.
Not less so.
It's going to be even more problematic when Dakin murders his husband and then Northstar falls in love with him anyway.
Leah Williams would never do that. She's going to protect the Kyle Northstar relationship so hard.
Please let them break up. Or just let him leave him. Or let him cheat. Let Kyle be a dirty, lying cheater.
Well, Dakin's got those pheromones, you know. Kyle's just a stupid human.
No, he's not going to sleep with Kyle. No, I think Dakin... I want Northstar to be the one to get Dakin... to, like, make Dakin learn what love is.
Yes.
Because if anyone could... Because you know what? I would think it would be funny if he uses his pheromones and they don't work on Northstar.
Ooh, maybe because his metabolism is too fast?
And he's just so cold. And then Dakin's like, I don't know... I've never had this before where I'm attracted to someone and he doesn't want me.
Oh, God.
Are you listening, Leah?
Oh, Leah. Hello. But you got Prodigy in the mix, too. Give me a Dakin Prodigy thing.
I know, right? How does he feel that he made out with the guy that's going to now destroy Earth? Empire. But when is all of this coming out? Who knows? Who knows?
Well, I'm really excited for X Factor, and I really hope it comes out soon.
This is so crazy, because that's the thing is they could release it. They have them. They're probably everything's done a few months in advance. They have them, and it's also that all can be done from home. It's all just about the actual books. Like, they want to make sure they can actually print the books. But I have a feeling if DC is starting to print comics, Marvel isn't going to let that fly. Marvel's not going to let DC get ahead of the game.
Absolutely.
So I think we'll be hearing something very shortly. And I predict we'll be hearing something by next week and next episode.
Oh, shit.
Who are we covering in next episode,
I hope so.
Brett? Should we discuss it now?
We brought up Karma.
But she's boring. Oh, yeah, fat Karma.
She's boring.
Karma.
We could do a deep Dazzler dive.
Who else is
She's another gay icon.
Who's another gay icon? No, if we could do something that's kind of really gay. Or have we done this recently? I was going to say we could we could read like what I think is one of the gayest crossover events.
What? Inferno?
I love how
Are you serious?
Inferno. Yeah.
Inferno's hella gay, and I would love to reread Inferno. Thank you so much. I think Inferno is the crossover that I've read the most in my life, but I have not read it in 20 years.
How about do we include Excalibur in this?
Yes, because then we get to bring up Brian Braddock in a fucking harness.
Yeah, okay, so let's do the Excalibur, New Mutants, X Factor, X-Men. Well, X Factor, X-Men is basically...
the same.
It's the same one long run.
Yeah. Oh my God. Are we fucking diving into Inferno next week?
Fuck yeah.
I am so excited. Thank you, Northstar.
Or it should be called Underboob.
Underboob. The X-Men Underboob crossover. And that's what we're titling the fucking episode.
Okay, well, we got it. Figured it out.
All right. We did it. We did
I love the way I said the
your
gayest
help.
crossover and you immediately went Inferno. And I'm like, yes.
Oh, my God. The gayest.
All right, cool.
That felt good. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Comic Book Quiz Legacy episode 128. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review on whichever platform you listen to the show on. And remember, everybody, if you read comics, I don't care how you identify, if you read comics, well, then that makes you
queer. Like Northstar. Bye.
Yes. Bye.
Smile.